Hey there everybody, Matt Busby again for Track Tuesdays. This week we're going to be talking about track vehicles, or how cheaply can I get out onto the racetrack. This past weekend we had the SCCA Time Trial Nationals, which is a great event. Some of the lower classes you could show up with a stock vehicle and go out and have some fun. So this week we're going over a vehicle that's a little bit special to me and special to this place, called Cold Lotion. So we're here where we have this 1996 Ford Probe, also known as Cold Lotion. And I have the owners here. I've got Stephen Lee and Cody Willett, and they're going to tell us a little bit about the car and how much money they've got into it and how easy it is to get on track and out here. Guys?
So I guess the place to start would be King of the Heap. So if you're watching this video series, you probably have heard of it. If not, shame on you. So this car had been sitting in a driveway of a friend of mine for 8 or 9 years. Hadn't run, had some issues, and Matt and some other people announced King of the Heap, a series for $1,000 or less cars with a claimer rule. Basically bring whatever you dragged in off Craigslist. So we said, hey, we got a free car, let's try it and have some fun. We had a blast in it. I mean, on terrible tires, no prep other than removing the interior with a crowbar. And we said after about 2 events, like, hey, this car is actually really fun. Let's build a track route out of it and go it even further. Let's try to prep for like champ car, things like that. Running with what we had. We've had a very basic like $300 suspension and some takeoffs from his E Street Spider, little 205 15s, and it was just a really fun car to drive, and we kind of built on it from there. You can do this for the price of a set of Corvette tires.
So all in, how much money do y'all have in this car?
About $4,000.
Yeah, we've been kicking it around this week.
And half of that is in the cage. The other 800 or so is in the wheels.
Yeah, the wheels, I mean, the rule is RPF ones make everything look good, and it's just
true. If it works on a purple Ford Probe, that's the case. Yeah. So.
Okay, so for safety, a friend of ours, Sean Lambert, we got with him and had him build a pretty nice cage for the car. We went ahead and did a full containment seat versus, we had run with a drag seat for a while, but the containment seats just seemed like a safer option, and it didn't cost that much more. It's got the quick detached steering wheel and a few other things. But all your basic, pretty much everything you need to get into wheel-to-wheel or champ car or any of that stuff. But a lot safer than running around with, absolutely no safety, which is what we had done before.
Other than the safety stuff, the car's still pretty much as it was last year. It's still on the $300 suspension. We did put wider wheels and tires on it and a little bit better brakes, but otherwise it's pretty bare bones. We just took all the weight we could out of it. The car weighs around 2360 with a few gallons of gas in it, which is pretty light, and that helps because the car doesn't make a whole lot of power. It's only maybe 160, maybe 170 at the wheels if we're really lucky. It's a 2.5 liter V6. So you really don't need a whole lot of power to have a lot of fun or even be able to set a decent lap time. If you can get enough weight out of the car, the power becomes kind of a non-issue.
And that's something where there's a lot of cars that the stock-ish or stock with bolt-ons power that might not be very impressive in your street trim car. I mean, it really comes alive when you remove this much weight. I mean, you take between 500 and 700 pounds out of a car, suddenly 160 horsepower is doing something for you. So this is it's mostly factory, all the hard parts in the engine. They're all factory Mazda stuff, but that makes enough power to where you can really use it when the car weighs as light as these, and that's something you can do with an Integras, Sentras, any of the '90s cars. That you can get really light, put a good tire on, and enough power with just basic modifications. And just as much fun as people with $20,000, $30,000 cars out here.
So the first video in this series, if you haven't been keeping up, is do lap times matter, and I think they do. So lap times. How fast are y'all running?
My personal best is a 2:25.0. We did put Tom O'Gorman in the car this weekend, and he did a 2:23.2 in it, which is pretty awesome for such a piece of crap.
So these guys are doing 223s to 225s on a car they built for $4 grand, and that's incredible. But Cold Lotion is not a unique situation. You too could reproduce it. So that's the question we're going to leave you with. If you had $5 grand, what would you build? 200 SX, Miata, Civic? Tell us in the comments below, and we'll see you next week.